Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Yvonne Rivera Martinez, and I am the Community Engagement Specialist for Sound Transit's Stride Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT, project along SR 522 and Northeast 145th Street. You may also hear us refer to this project as the Stride S3 line. This is a new name we'll be using moving forward. In this video, we're going to cover the latest information about the project so you can understand what our design currently looks like in each city along the corridor. We'll also talk about changes for riders, the environmental review process, and what you can expect in the coming months. On behalf of Sound Transit, we would like to begin by acknowledging that the land we are currently inhabiting is the ancestral land of several coastal Salish tribes. We recognize all the tribes that have been here since time immemorial. We understand and value the importance of partnerships with our tribal nations as we move forward in developing the usual and accustomed lands of many tribes in the greater Seattle area as part of ST3. Most familiar are the Muckleshoot, Suquamish, and Tulalip tribes. We strive to strengthen the government-to-government relationships, understand the sovereign immunity the tribes uphold, and most importantly, are committed to listening, learning, and lifting Indigenous voices as we plan the largest light rail expansion in the United States. Finally, we would like to offer our deep gratitude to our coastal Salish tribes as you continue to be stewards and advocates for this land. Before we dive into the project design, I want to introduce Paul Cornish, BRT Program Director, to provide a brief overview about our project and share some important Sound Transit updates.
Thanks, Yvonne, and all who are watching today. The Stride S3 line will connect North Lake Washington communities to the regional transit system through fast, frequent, and reliable service. Riders will be able to transfer between the State Route 522 145th Stride S3 line, I-405 North Stride S2 line, Link Light Rail, and other transit service provided by Sound Transit, Community Transit, and King County Metro. This project came out of a local community-driven effort to include the project on the Sound Transit 3, or ST3 ballot, which was approved by the voters in 2016. The anticipated date for when BRT service will begin is 2025 or 2026. This schedule is subject to change due to impacts from the recession caused by COVID-19 and the ongoing Sound Transit Board realignment process, which I'll discuss next. The COVID-19 crisis is greatly reducing the revenue Sound Transit relies on to expand our regional transit system. As businesses remain closed and people stay home, sales tax revenues critical to funding Sound Transit construction have declined rapidly. We don't know how long or how damaging the current recession will be. With greatly depleted revenues, Sound Transit may not be able to deliver many expansion projects on their original timelines unless we receive alternative revenue from federal or state sources. The Sound Transit Board has undertaken a process called realignment to determine which plans and timelines for the voter-approved project will need to change due to lower revenue projections, absent receiving alternative revenue. The realignment will establish clear expectations about project delivery timelines by the summer of 2021. At this time, planning and design work on the State Route 522 Northeast 145th Stride BRT project continues, although the project schedule may change. You can find more information about realignment at soundtransit.org/realignment. I'll turn it back over to Yvonne to introduce our next speaker.
Thanks, Paul. I'd like to introduce Kathy Leota, one of our project managers, to walk us through the preliminary design. Take it away, Kathy.
Thanks, Yvonne. Since spring 2019, we've been working with our agency and city partners to develop more detailed designs and advance the environmental review. We've also been meeting with property owners to learn about their needs, answer questions, and inform the design. Now, our preliminary design and engineering work is almost complete, but is not final until the board identifies the project to be built later this spring. When I say preliminary design, what I'm referring to is the 30% design level that the project team has been working towards since mid-2019. The footprint for the project is largely determined at this level. For a closer look at our design, visit our online open house and interactive map by March 11th at sr522brt.participate.online. So before I jump into describing the design, I want to share a few design elements that are consistent across the project and address some questions that were frequently asked. We receive a lot of questions about the station, what the stations will look like. Stride BRT stations will typically include longer platforms, which are essentially long and somewhat wider sidewalks, so that two buses, for example, one Stride BRT bus and one King County Metro bus, can serve passengers at the same time. The updated shelter design also includes signs with Stride BRT branding and real-time information on bus arrivals and departures, as well as a framed canopy and windscreens for people's comfort and safety. So we're continuing to update the shelter design. We also hear many questions about what the roadway features and other design elements like sidewalks, planting strip, and retaining walls will look like. We work closely with our partners, including the Washington State Department of Transportation, or WSDOT, and cities along the corridor to develop and review the design. For example, WSDOT needs to approve lane widths and other roadway features. WSDOT or the city will also need to approve sidewalks, planting strips, and retaining walls. WSDOT and cities have guidelines for how wide sidewalks and planting strips should be, and they develop these guidelines based on how they think these features will benefit the public. The widths of sidewalks along the corridor will vary, but will typically be 5 to 8 feet wide, and planting strips will usually be up to 5 feet wide. This varies by city, and in some locations, the planting strip may be narrower to avoid major impacts. Retaining walls, where they're needed, will be of varying heights across the corridor, and the wall will typically be made out of cement concrete material. Business access and transit, or BAT lanes, will usually be 11 to 12 feet wide. For a closer look at the potential locations of the sidewalks and the retaining walls, visit our interactive map by March 11th at sr522brt.participate.online and click the checkbox for proposed sidewalks and proposed retaining wall in the legend to the right of the map. You may also be wondering how Stride BRT will integrate with services from other agencies. King County Metro will continue to serve bus stops along SR 522 and Northeast 145th, including at Stride BRT stations. Additionally, Community Transit is proposing to use Stride BRT stops for their local bus service in Bothell, and we'll talk more about this later in this video. King County Metro and Community Transit stops are currently draft proposals. There will be opportunities for the public to provide input into these stops as they're refined. I'll also speak more about changes for transit riders later on in this video. Over the next few slides, I'm going to give an overview of our current design along Northeast 145th Street and along SR 522 in Lake Forest Park and Kenmore. Lucian Bruno is the project manager for the Bothell and Woodinville sections, and he'll provide an overview for those cities. If you'd like to skip ahead for your city, you can use the chapter markers in the video timeline or click the timestamps in the description below the video. We've made a couple of updates to BRT station locations on Northeast 145th Street since 2019. We're proposing to locate Stride stations at the future Shoreline South 148th Link Light Rail Station near 148th and 5th, at Northeast 145th Street and 15th Avenue Northeast, and at Northeast 145th Street and 30th Avenue Northeast. The proposed Stride Station at Northeast 145th Street and 30th Avenue Northeast was previously located close to the intersection of Northeast 145th Street and SR 522, with the east or the northbound station located on SR 522 near the Lake City Kidney Center. That bus stop on SR 522 will continue to be served by King County Metro. In 2019, we also indicated that we were going to further study a BRT station at Northeast 145th Street and 25th Avenue Northeast. After further study, we are no longer proposing a BRT station at 25th Avenue Northeast, but this stop will continue to be served by King County Metro, who will provide frequent service from this stop to the future light rail station. Our project also no longer includes roadway widening at Northeast 145th Street and 25th Avenue Northeast. We're proposing to add bus queue bypass lanes on Northeast 145th Street near 15th Avenue Northeast to enable buses to get through this intersection more quickly. We will also be adding sidewalks and a planting strip where we widen the roadway. We're also proposing a westbound bus lane, we call it a business access and transit lane, from about 8th to 6th, where it will tie into a City of Shoreline roundabout project at 145th and 5th. Compared to earlier phases of the project, this design along the north side of 145th west of 15th reduces the length of roadway widening needed because the City of Shoreline's planned roundabout is expected to improve traffic flow at 145th and 5th. Further east, along Northeast 145th, we are also proposing a reconfiguration of lanes along Northeast 145th at SR 522 to improve the environment for pedestrians and transit riders. Instead of widening the south side of the roadway between 30th and SR 522, one of the two westbound lanes on Northeast 145th between SR 522 and 31st Avenue Northeast will instead be used for an additional eastbound left turn lane. The new proposed eastbound configuration will continue to provide two left turn lanes for general purpose traffic. It will also include a new left lane for buses to turn left and general purpose traffic to continue straight, and it will retain a right turn pocket for general purpose traffic. Along SR 522 and Lake Forest Park, we are proposing to locate stations at SR 522 and Northeast 153rd Street, at SR 522 and Northeast 165th Street, and at SR 522 and Ballinger Way on SR 522 near the Lake Forest Park Town Center. We'll also be adding a new park and ride garage at the Lake Forest Park Town Center. All park and ride garages in our projects are currently at 10% design, meaning they're at an earlier stage of design compared to the rest of the project elements. We're adding a northbound bus lane called a business access and transit lane from Northeast 145th to the town center. We will also be adding sidewalks and a planting strip on the east side of SR 522 where we widen the roadway. Since 2019, we've refined the design between Northeast 155th Street and half a block south of 41st Avenue Northeast, shifting some roadway widening to the west side of SR 522 to reduce property impacts. We've reached out to property owners on both sides of the roadway to discuss what this means for potential impacts to their properties. This west side shift entails relocating the southbound bus lane approximately 18 feet to the west from 41st Avenue Northeast to 38th Avenue Northeast to accommodate both northbound and southbound bus lanes and the added sidewalk. While a portion of the road would now be widened to the west in this section, the added bus lane would still be northbound or on the east side of the roadway. The west shift design refinement would mean that SR 522 will be reconstructed from 41st Avenue Northeast to 38th Avenue Northeast. This widening also requires extensive retaining walls from 10 to 14 feet high along most of the relocated southbound bus lane on the west side of SR 522. There will also be some smaller walls on the east side. Our design also proposes a new median in Lake Forest Park where there's currently a two-way left turn lane. The new median would begin at Northeast 147th Street and extend to 41st Avenue Northeast. People driving would be able to make U-turns at 165th Street and at Northeast 153rd. Along SR 522 in Kenmore, we're proposing to locate stations at SR 522 and 61st Avenue Northeast, at SR 522 and 68th Avenue Northeast, and at SR 522 and 73rd Avenue Northeast, or on SR 522 near the Kenmore Park and Ride lot. We will also be adding a new garage at the Kenmore Park and Ride. As I mentioned in my explanation of our design in Lake Forest Park, all park and ride garages in our project are currently at 10% design, meaning they are at an earlier stage of design compared to the rest of our project elements. For the parking garage in Kenmore, King County Metro owns the park and ride lot. We're exploring a partnership in which King County Metro would lead further design and construction of the garage at the Kenmore Park and Ride lot. King County Metro, in collaboration with the City of Kenmore, Sound Transit, and property owners in the vicinity of the Park and Ride lot, is also looking at opportunities for transit-oriented development at the Park and Ride. Sound Transit would collaborate with King County Metro on this transit-oriented development, or TOD, but TOD is not part of the STRIDE BRT project. We're also working with our partners to develop a habitat management plan for the Kenmore Heron Rookery north of the Park and Ride lot. As part of a series of TOD workshops in 2019, the project team investigated how the Park and Ride garage might affect the great blue herons at the rookery. To minimize disruptions to the herons, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife and the City of Kenmore recommend avoiding any increase in activity levels near the rookery. A habitat management plan will be completed as design is finalized to determine final measures that will be used to protect the colony. Those specific measures for colony protection will be included in the project design plans and construction requirements. We've made an update to station locations since 2019, and we propose to not include a STRIDE BRT station at 80th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore. It would continue to be served by King County Metro. Sidewalk widths have been reviewed by the city with the City of Kenmore and will be constructed to city and ADA standards. I'm now going to turn it over to Lucian Bruno, project manager for the City of Bothell portion of this project, to speak to our design in Bothell.
Thanks, Kathy. Along SR 522 in Bothell, we are proposing to locate stations at 98th Avenue Northeast and Northeast 182nd Street, Northeast 185th Street and 104th Avenue Northeast, UW Bothell Cascadia College at Beardsley Boulevard, Beardsley Boulevard and Northeast 195th Street, and the SR 522 I-405 Transit Hub. We are also proposing to add a new park and ride garage in downtown Bothell on the vacant lot south of Pop Keeney Stadium. As Kathy mentioned previously, all park and ride garages in our project are currently at 10% design, meaning they are at an earlier stage of design compared to the rest of our project elements. Sound Transit in the City of Bothell are also looking at opportunities for transit-oriented development, or TOD, at the park and ride, in which case Sound Transit would collaborate with a third party, such as an affordable housing developer, on TOD. But note that TOD is not part of the STRIDE BRT project. We've made a few updates to these station locations since 2019. We proposed to move one of Bothell STRIDE's BRT stations originally planned for the intersection of Valley View Road and 108th Avenue Northeast north to Beardsley Boulevard and a block west of 110th Avenue Northeast, basically at the entrance of UW Bothell and Cascadia College. Community Transit and Metro will serve most of these stations. Community Transit is proposing to serve stations with their local bus service at 104th Avenue Northeast, Beardsley Boulevard at UW Cascadia College, and Beardsley Boulevard at Northeast 195th Street. King County Metro is also proposing to serve our stations along the corridor in Bothell at 98th Avenue Northeast, 104th Avenue Northeast, and UW Bothell Cascadia College. Our refined design in Bothell relocates the connection between two Stride BRT routes, the S3 and S2 lines. The Stride S2 line will be a new north-south BRT route to operate primarily along I-405. The connection for these two lines has moved from the I-405 Northeast 195th interchange to the SR 522 I-405 interchange, where a transit hub is being designed by Sound Transit and WashDOT that includes a safe and accessible pedestrian connection to the University of Washington Bothell Cascadia College campus. On the western edge of Bothell, the refined design also includes a northbound bus-only lane on SR 522 that makes use of the current center turn lane, which will improve speed and reliability while minimizing impacts to adjacent properties. Being that the bus lane will occupy the current two-way center turn lane, this design will prevent left turns in and out of certain residences and businesses along this stretch. In these cases, motorists will need to make a U-turn either at Northeast 180th Street to the north or 96th Avenue Northeast to the south. While we understand this poses a trade-off for vehicular access, it will make for a safer stretch of SR 522 and allows our design to reduce physical impacts to the properties themselves. As part of the project, we are also making roadway, intersection, and sidewalk improvements to improve safety and efficiency for all users along the corridor. These include 2 new signalized intersections and several new turn pockets to improve travel reliability along the Northeast 185th Street corridor. New sidewalks in locations where the road is widened, and bike path safety improvements along Beardsley Boulevard to avoid conflicts between buses and cyclists. In order to make space for these improvements and allow safe bi-directional movement of buses along the corridor, some on-street parking will need to be removed. Sound Transit is currently working with the city to identify strategies for mitigating parking in certain locations where required per development agreements. I'll also speak a bit about what Sound Transit is planning in Woodinville. To better connect Woodinville commuters with major regional destinations, we're proposing to serve Woodinville with a new ST Express route. This service would start when the Stride S3 line begins its service. During peak hours, the ST Express route would serve the SR 522 I-405 transit hub in Bothell, where riders could transfer to the S3 line or stay on board to travel in the I-405 express toll lanes to the Bellevue Transit Center. Here, riders could connect to light rail to Redmond or Seattle. Compared to the current routing on Route 522, this connection would provide the fastest way for Woodinville commuters to travel to Bellevue, Redmond, and Seattle. During off-peak hours and on weekends, this route would serve the transit hub in Bothell, where riders would connect to the Stride S3 line or S2 line. This service also offers the potential to serve additional stops in downtown Woodinville. Stay tuned for opportunities to provide feedback as the ST Express service is designed. After learning about the design in your city, you may be wondering what this design means for your current transit ride. Beginning in fall 2021, the existing Sound Transit Express Route 522 will be rerouted to the future Roosevelt Link Light Rail Station. From there, riders will be able to take Link Rail south to downtown Seattle and the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, or north to Northgate. When it opens, SR 522 and Northeast 145th BRT will connect to the future Shoreline South 148th Link Light Rail Station. Our goal is to ensure that the future BRT system complements and supports the most efficient and local and regional transit service for the community, including avoiding duplicative service, reducing travel times, and providing easy transfers. As an agency, Sound Transit's service model is to reorient bus service to connect to the expanding Link Light Rail network. By rerouting the existing ST Express Route 522 and connecting BRT to light rail and Shoreline, Transit service along the SR 522 and Northeast 145th corridor will allow future riders to bypass the congestion they currently experience on I-5 with faster and more reliable service. We will continue to work closely with our transit agency partners, King County Metro and Community Transit, to determine how our service can best integrate with their current and planned future routes. I'll turn it back to Kathy to go over environmental review underway.
Thanks, Lucian. We understand the environmental review process interests many community members. We're conducting environmental review of the project as required by the State Environmental Policy Act, or SEPA, and we're completing a SEPA checklist to document the findings of this work. Analyzing a project's potential environmental impacts through the SEPA process helps ensure that environmental values are considered during future decision-making by Sound Transit and other agencies with jurisdiction over the project. Impacts associated with both construction and operation of the project are considered in the checklist. The checklist addresses 16 elements of the environment. Those are earth, air, water, plants, animals, energy and natural resources, environmental health, hazardous materials and noise, land and shoreline use, housing, aesthetics, light and glare, recreation, historic and cultural preservation, transportation, public services, and utilities. Using the checklist, Sound Transit will make a determination of whether the project is likely to have adverse impacts and if mitigation for these impacts is available. Both the SEPA checklist and the determination will be available for public review and comment later this spring, and notice will be sent out when these are available. The notice will be sent to agencies with jurisdiction, tribes, utility service providers, and other interested parties. If you are subscribed to our project email updates list, you will receive notice when the checklist and determination are available. If you are not currently on the list and would like to receive this notice, please subscribe to project updates at soundtransit.org/SR522BRT. Please watch for more information about the SEPA schedule and comment period through our project email updates. So what's next for our project? After completing the SEPA checklist and comment period later this spring, the project team will ask the Sound Transit Board to identify the project to be built, which may enable the project to advance into the design and construction phases. We currently anticipate this board meeting will be in April. As I mentioned earlier, the project schedule is subject to change due to impacts from the recession caused by COVID-19 and the ongoing Sound Transit Board realignment process. In the upcoming design phase, we will finalize the design of the roadway and sidewalks, finalize station design and public art, advance the park and ride garages to 30% or a more advanced level of design, obtain land use, environmental and construction permits, begin the property acquisition process, continue engaging with and providing feedback opportunities for the public, community groups, businesses, elected officials, and partner agencies to comment on and inform the design. Now I'll turn it back over to Yvonne to talk about how you can stay engaged with the project moving forward.
Thanks, Kathy. One way you can learn more about the project is by visiting our online open house by March 11th at sr522brt.participate.online. The website is available in English, Spanish, and Simplified Chinese. There you can explore our interactive map of the design, download detailed role plots, and share your thoughts to inform our future outreach. The video you're watching now is available on our online open house, so you can revisit it anytime by March 11th. I also want to talk a bit about our online resource site for property owners. Since January 2020, the project team has been meeting with property owners across the corridor who may be affected by the project. based on early conceptual designs. If you're a property owner who may be affected by the project, we encourage you to visit our online resource page for property owners at sr522brt-properties.participate.online. There you can watch videos and review other materials to get answers to frequently asked questions. Please note that some of the designs shown in the videos have been updated more recently. For the latest designs, please visit our online open house. If you have any questions, please reach out by email at brt@soundtransit.org or by phone at 206-553-3412. I encourage you to subscribe to our email list to stay tuned for future updates at soundtransit.org/SR522BRT. Thank you for joining us.